YouTubers, what's going on? It's your boy, Dalyxman, alongside members of the Four Horsemen with another video. I am joined by the Iron Man, John.
What's going on, baby? John here from Beer Money 2K, and man, is it a good day to do a commentary.
And to my left, the anti-shooter, Eonizzle.
What's going on, guys? Been planning this video for about a week now. Hopefully it turns out good.
This is a rare occasion, guys, because this is actually the first time me, Eonizzle, and John have done a video together, so this should be pretty interesting. Before we get started, subscribe to us if you have not, and go subscribe to our original channels, our main channels for our solo commentaries down below in the description box, along with TwitWow and all the other links down below. I think that covers all the plugs. Let's get right into it, guys. This video is going to be us talking about the possible WWE releases coming up for their usual spring cleaning they do every single year. We have our own list of 4 superstars, wrestlers that we think are going to be released. We're going to go back and forth discussing who we believe is going to be released, and then we'll discuss those wrestlers as they come up.
More specifically, we each have 3 wrestlers and 1 diva.
Right. I think that covers up everything pretty well, so should we get started? I'll start things off if you guys don't mind. On my list, let me just say this really quickly. I don't want this guy to get released, but I think he will be released. On my list, number 1 is Evan Bourne. Now, Evan Bourne has had one hell of a ride this last year. With the suspension of, I believe it was over marijuana or some synthetic marijuana. And he got suspended for that, and then he got in trouble with Triple H backstage and stuff like that. And just had some backstage heat on him based off the reports. And then he got injured to top it all off. He has not had the best luck over the past few months or past few weeks, and I don't...
Or Justin.
Seriously, I don't really think Evan Bourne's going to be around for long. I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up releasing him because, let's be honest, they tried to push him as a main eventer and it didn't really work out for him. I think WWE...
Did?
Huh? Yeah, in 2010.
They did?
In 2010, they tried to pair him up with John Cena and they tried to give him a push, like an actual mainstay superstar. But didn't really work out so much, so...
I remember the team with John Cena, but I didn't really see that as them trying to push him as a main eventer.
Maybe not a main event, but as somebody, like a main focus of the show.
As like a bigger star than what I think he was originally being billed as, because you had him teaming with Cena. I know he had some altercations with Sheamus while Sheamus was a world title holder. Of course, the feud with Jericho, I believe, was that 2010 or 2011? I believe that was 2010.
It was 2010, yeah.
Again, here's my thing, guys, and this isn't trying to sound callous by any means, but there probably would have been a time when I would have cared if he was going to get released, but if what the reports that I read in the wake of all this were true, and that's because Evan Bourne was trying to get fired, then quite honestly, I've really lost respect for him as a performer. I mean, whatever happened to just going to your boss and saying, I can't do this, I quit. I mean, hell, we give Gail Kim a lot of flack, but at least that's what she did, and she just, sat home and she waited. Evan Bourne's really putting his reputation at risk to try and leave a job that he doesn't want, but I think what he doesn't realize is that he's creating a stigma for himself. So if he ever wants to go and wrestle again, you've got these other promotions looking at him and saying, well, he did this, is he really dependable? So I think he went about it in a completely idiotic way. If that's the truth, if it's not the truth, it is a sad case of a person who I think, even though I don't think marijuana is the biggest deal in the world, that's just me being honest with everyone, it's a violation of the wellness policy. I think in any kind of work environment you're in, you should respect the policies that are enforced. Evan didn't do that. Tough break. I think the kid's very talented. I always saw Evan as that solid mid-carder. Could have been that very strong U.S. title holder. Really nothing more than that. I think it's a loss in the sense that you've got a sensational performer who can sell really well. I mean, just ask a guy like Wade Barrett when he would demolish Bourne, make the Wasteland look like a legitimate finisher. But you're really not dealing with that big of a loss here, in my personal opinion. Eon, I mean, what do you think about all that?
I personally... as far as Evan Bourne goes, I think that he has definite assets that he brings to the company that make him not necessarily irreplaceable, but extremely difficult to replace because there really aren't that many guys, not only in WWE, but even in FCW. If you want to go down to the developmental system, there really aren't that many guys that work the high-flying lucha style that Bourne brings.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the guy sells amazingly. Like I guess here's my thing. When you see somebody who does a backflip to sell a clothesline, you know that they're dedicated to making the other guy look good.
Evan Bourne had some of the sickest bumps I've ever seen. There was this one time when he took the clothesline, he landed on his neck, and it looked like he actually broke his neck. It's freaking ridiculous.
Exactly. So, like, as far as, like, all the backstage stuff goes, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he got released. But I think that the WWE still sees value in keeping him around, if for no other reason, just because of the fact that he's different. He's not a typical, 6'4", 245-pound superstar. And I think that he has that asset. But, yeah, like I said, I really wouldn't be too surprised if he did get released.
And that's my thing. I mean, like I said before, I don't want him to get released. I like Evan Bourne, a.k.a. Max Sydal. I like his wrestling style. I like his wrestling abilities. I like the way he sells. I like everything about him, But it's just like they just said, just echoing what both Ashton and John said. If he gets released, we wouldn't be surprised. And it would be a sad thing to see. But I won't necessarily blame WWE for it. I would have to put some of that blame on Evan Bourne himself. He pretty much dug his own bag.
I hate to say it. I really do hate to say it. But honestly, as brutal as this might sound, I don't think I'd miss him.
I wouldn't either. Ashton, that's not brutal at all. I think that's just being honest. Did I always enjoy Evan Bourne when it came on my TV? Yeah, but he really left a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, you figure he got a tag title on his first title run, and that's so ironic. Everybody was so happy when Evan won the tag titles at Kingston because it was his first championship in the company. And at the time, I was one of those people, guys, because I really thought the kid busted his ass, whatever. And we can say what we want about the tag team division, second fiddle, third fiddle, fourth fiddle, no fiddle at all. But I think there was a certain responsibility put on Evan Bourne's shoulders, because when you give it to a tag team like Air Boom, and seeing how they were booked in the beginning, I think it was kind of like a revitalization of the tag team division, at least to somewhat of a respectable degree. Evan Bourne carried that responsibility, and he failed. And now we have that on Epico and Primo, and that's another story for a whole different commentary. So I don't really respect him that much as a performer. That's a harsh thing to say right there, harsher than what you said. I really don't respect him as a performer, and if the reasons why are true, and I just want to stress that, are true, then I don't even respect him as a person. Bye-bye, Evan Bourne.
I think that's all I have to say about Evan Bourne. I'm going to pass the ball over to John, and he's going to give you guys who's first on his list. So go ahead, John. Take it away.
The first person on my list is Ezekiel Jackson, because I don't equate losing streaks with domination. I can't remember.
It's called domination.
My ass.
To me, Ezekiel Jackson, here's the thing, guys. I do think that a guy like Zeke has a place, not only because of the WWE philosophy of the bigger the guy, the bigger the draw, I guess, and I literally speaking. But, like when he was in a place like the Core, for example, I thought that was the perfect place for a guy like Jackson. You're the muscle of the group, you don't talk that much, you do the heavy lifting, whatever. When he was the manager for the Brian Kendrick, regardless of how some people feel about that, I know, Ashton, you hated that gimmick. I personally loved it. A role where you're seen, your impact is felt, but you're never heard. And they tried to go farther than that with Ezekiel Jackson, and in my opinion, they failed. And because of that, you can't scale it back. You can't turn back time. The best thing you can do is go forward. And the best thing, in my opinion, to do with him is action. If they had kept him as just the muscle of the Core, and maybe just kind of move him around, manager, muscle, whatever, maybe win the occasional title here and there, I guess, because, again, they love the big man physique. But he's just fallen apart. I really don't see any relevant place for him. Give him the axe. Alex, what do you think about that?
Here's my thing about that, John, because I had Ezekiel Jackson on my list for future world champions. And when he first came in, I believed it. I think he was going to be somebody to really look at as the years went by. They had an opportunity to make him somebody, but I just think that he was just booked all wrong. The way he was showcased just hurt him. And Zeke just didn't get the proper booking that could have made him somebody important. And it's unfortunate because even now I feel like he could have been a main attraction, but unfortunately it's not the case now. I don't think Zeke is really worth keeping now.
I kind of want to give a rebuttal, but not before we get Eonizzle's thoughts. So Eon, what do you...
I think that Ezekiel Jackson's problem can be summed up in one phrase. He can't talk. He's got no talent as far as talking goes. He isn't a talented mic worker. He just isn't. There's some people that just plain don't get it, and he's one of them. Not to say that he doesn't have any potential at all, because I do think that he has a great look, and because of that, he has the potential to be a huge star. But it's really a matter of when John Morrison realized that he was lackluster on the mic, what did he do? He went out and he learned how. He took the acting lessons, he took public speaking lessons, and he's working on it. Like, not necessarily to suggest that he's great at it now, but at least he tried. I haven't heard anything about Ezekiel Jackson trying to be a better talker at all.
Right.
And that's really his biggest, obviously, that and the fact that he's borderline dangerous in the ring, because, man, let me tell you what, some of his matches, I get so scared that he's going to break somebody's neck when he does one of those swoop slams, but you know who could use a guy like Ezekiel Jackson is TNA, because they don't have enough legit big guys with any kind of like an actual name, because really, if you look at their big guys, who do they have? Matt Morgan, but like, yeah, I could see, really, as unrealistic as this might sound, if I were the WWE, I would offer up a trade to TNA. We'll give you Ezekiel Jackson if you give us somebody. Like, you know what I mean?
I suppose so.
You know, I like that. And first of all, you know, the mentioning of John Morrison, clearly I'm the mark, but I do like the premise of why you mentioned it. He tried. I can appreciate any guy who puts forth any kind of effort to better himself. The very same reason you described is why I became a bigger John Morrison fan, and that's why I think I lost favor with Evan Bourne. I didn't really see him caring. With Ezekiel Jackson, like with any of these guys that are on our list, I feel like if you tried, I would still maybe say that you're getting cut, but I could at least have a little bit of respect for you more and try and offer up solutions and saying you don't have to be cut, but that's the way it is. As far as your TNA idea goes, I can see it because I look at the TNA product and, Abyss used to be such, a powerhouse, both metaphorically and literally, but they've really watered him down big time, and I think they could use that guy to kind of step into Abyss's old spot, and I see Zeke being that guy, because he is. And that's what my rebuttal to you, Alex, is going to be. The only way I could see Ezekiel Jackson being somewhat salvaged to a respectable degree, as in, back to at least somewhat of a decent mid-carder, would be, turning heel and just racking everybody that comes in his path. And,
right.
But see, here's my problem with it. That's so one-dimensional. Because, again, we've seen that everywhere. Who's to say I can't get some big guy? I mean, seriously. Who's to say I can't get some big guy off the street? Realistically,
if you want to give that kind of a push to somebody, I could see the WWE giving that kind of push to Mason Ryan.
And we'll get to him in a second. But
him.
Exactly.
I just see more dominant guys coming into the fold. I mean, maybe this is a bit, presumptuous of me. Maybe I'm just kind of rushing to the gun. But I could even see, like, when we talk about that dominant kind of just in-your-face sort of guy, I could see Antonio Cesaro taking that spot very quickly, especially with how he debuted against Tyson Kidd.
You don't even need to seek anything out. Look no further than underneath your nose itself. Ryback.
Yeah, really.
Exactly.
And you know what, Ashton? When you mention Ryback, I think that's what WWE originally wanted Ezekiel Jackson to kind of be, in the sense of like how he carries himself.
Yeah.
And now that they have it, there's really no need for Big Zeke, because he used to have something that made him stand out, I guess, with his build, because WWE loves that. We know the WWE philosophy. But now that we've got more of that, and a guy like Cesaro, who does...
And really, on top of that, if you want to talk about somebody that basically fills the role that Ezekiel Jackson could fill, but better, David Otunga. He's gigantic, too.
Yep.
True, and I mean, we all know that I am kind of an Otunga fan legitimately, so I have no qualms about that. Just no place for Big Zeke. Does anybody have anything else they want to say?
Not about Big Zeke, no.
Yeah, I just wanted to wrap things up with my thoughts on Big Zeke. It just pretty much sums it up by this. Could have been something when he first brought him in, but over time, he just wore himself out. Wasted potential. It's probably the best way to put it.
Unless you have anything else to say, Alex, I'm going to go ahead and...
You go ahead, bro. You take the floor.
Okay, my first guy, and it really does break my heart to say this because I am a fan of the guy, but again, this is more somebody that I think will get released, not somebody that I want to get released, that being Hunico. I hate to say it because, like I've said in the past, I feel like he has a lot of potential. I kind of dwindled. I went from, he could be the next, Rey Mysterio to, he could be the next Jeff Hardy without the drugs, and now it's, he could be the next, Chavo Guerrero maybe. but it's just dwindling. And I like him. I still like his work. I still enjoy watching him work in the ring. But I think he's like 33 years old, and he doesn't do anything. They don't have anything for him, so I would not be surprised at all to see Hunico get released.
I'm going to actually rebut Ashton here. I don't think he's going to be released. I think Hunico has too much potential to really be let go right now. Would I be surprised if he is released? Yeah, I would be surprised, because it's like, come on, this guy is very talented, and, WWE's talking about bringing in more of their Mexican audience. I'm thinking, come on, Hunico's a really good talent, and alongside Del Rio, and if they think about bringing back Sin Cara, that'd be nice. Hunico could actually help bring in more of that audience too. So here's my thing: if he does get released, fuck, I really, really like it, but I have to agree with Ashton somewhat. It could happen. I'm not going to ignore the fact that it won't happen. I just personally don't think it should happen because he's too much of a good talent. He has too much potential to be released right now. I mean, what you got to say about that, John?
Here's my thing. I don't really know how much you can attribute to this, but to me, I don't know if my cohorts in crime here would agree with this. I think Hunico was a victim of, wrong place, wrong time.
Circumstance.
Well, I was going to say circumstance, but also, more specifically, wrong place, wrong time. Because when you come into the industry, right when it's got like guys like The Rock and Brock Lesnar coming into your product, it's really hard to stand out. And he had a good thing going, being the anti-Sin Cara, and quite honestly, if Sin Cara was still around, I'd have Hunico keep that gimmick.
I even said that. I said that now that Sin Cara is going to be out for 6 months, I hope that it doesn't kill Hunico's push, and next thing you know, he hasn't been on TV for how long.
And it's a shame, because here's the thing. When Ashton originally told me Hunico was on his list, I wasn't mad or upset at him. I mean, I was shocked, but I think it's the sad realization that I can't help but agree with him, that the guy, I think, is so talented.
It is, John. It's upsetting.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, because I look at it and I see what Hunico has to offer. His matches with Ted DiBiase, his match with Tyson Kidd on Superstars. Holy shit, what a match
That's what I'm talking about, man. It's like, you see how he wrestles, you see what he can bring to the table. He
wrestles so clean, like crisp and perfect, smooth. And, it's a shame, because with this whole talent initiative going on in the WWE, especially as far as FCW is concerned, I'm almost like, give the guy something. I mean, it almost makes me want to go as far and really grasp at straws. Maybe create a championship for Superstars and give him the belt. I mean, do something where this guy could be somewhat relevant, because the idea that he's just not even a blip on certain people's radars is really sad. Because I think, really honestly, I'd make the bold statement, I mean, looking at our lists, I'd say he's the most talented guy on our list. Maybe arguably Trent Barreta, but...
It's a toss-up.
Hunico is far more talented than Trent Barreta.
So, I would make the claim that Hunico is the most talented person on our list, and that's what makes it so sad, because this isn't a case of, oh my god, get him off my TV. Quite the contrary. I'd love to see Hunico on my TV every week on SmackDown, on a legitimate program, where I know he can do things. Even if they want to pair him with Camacho for the latter half of this year and get him in the tag division, I don't care. Just keep him and do something with him, because he is too good to lose, and that's really all I can say about it.
I mean, I think we said all we need to say about it. I mean, Ashley, unless you got something you want to tie on to what you said.
No, I just really want to emphasize that I don't want to see Hunico go anywhere. It's just a gut feeling that I have.
Alright, guys, let's go right back to me and go to my second wrestler on my list. Now, this one is a bit subjective and a little objective too. Mason Ryan. I'm going to be honest. I do not like Mason Ryan. I think he's generic. I think he has nothing to offer. Probably the best thing that I saw Mason Ryan do was that face turn he had against, was it Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler? Yeah, it was against Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler when he was supposedly the new member of Vicky Guerrero's team. And he turned on it. I'm like, you know what? That could be interesting. Since then, he hasn't shown me anything. Now look, Ashton told me that he was FCW World Champion. Maybe that's something to take into credit. My thing is, I have not seen anything from Mason Ryan to make me go, okay, why should he be on my TV? Why should I really take notice of him? I haven't seen it from him. Yeah, he's big. Yes, he's strong. Yes, he's a brute. So is Ryback. So is Lord Tensai. We have... He's asking the question for me. Exactly. there are other people on the roster that can completely overshadow Mason Ryan. He doesn't stick out so much. And my biggest reason is this. What happens if WWE decides to bring back Batista? Mason Ryan is fucking screwed. I'm telling you, he's screwed. I mean, he already comes out to Batista chants. They already look at him as a generic Batista ripoff. I don't think Mason Ryan's going to stay for long. I wouldn't be surprised if he got released, and honestly, I wouldn't give a shit. Ashton, what you got to say about that?
Well, I do want to defend Mason Ryan here, not necessarily because I think that he's awesome or anything like that. I don't know. As far as Mason Ryan goes, I guess I'm sympathetic because here's a guy who was on American Gladiators and then he wanted to get into the wrestling business. And he was already a little bit late to the program because usually when somebody becomes a wrestler, they do it at like between 18 and 22, 23. But at the same time, you got to look at guys like Diamond Dallas Page, who didn't get into the business until he was like 33 or 34 years old, and even Batista got into the business when he was 30. So, Mason Ryan, to me, if you look at where he is in his career right now, I think he's 30 or 31 years old, and you look at where Batista was in his career right now, they're close. I think Batista was even still in development, not on TV yet, at this stage in his career. So, I guess I just am not as willing to give up on Mason Ryan as you guys are. But really, the fact that I'm still comparing him to Batista is almost a sign that it's like a sign of failure. But I don't know.
What you gotta say about this, John?
Yeah, I'm picking up what Ashton's laying down, and same way with you, Alex. I'm more with Alex as far. I guess my thing is, and maybe I'm putting way too much stock in this kid, but I look at a guy like Ryback, who I feel like in due time is going to show so much more dimension than the other big men that we've mentioned, that I think he's going to almost force the big man wrestler to evolve. How they talk, how they carry themselves, whatever, how they look, everything. And I feel like, when I look at it in terms like that, of reinventing that kind of model, redefining it, making it evolve, it almost makes Mason Ryan obsolete. Now, of course, that's a little bit drastic. It's WWE. They love guys that look like Mason Ryan. Ashton, to your point, which I agree with him, the fact that he's English, he comes from Wales, is definitely a benefit.
That's a completely different market. That's a market that the WWE doesn't really focus on anymore, or yet, I guess I should say, and that they could because of Mason Ryan. Like, they're keeping guys like Sheamus because of Ireland, and Drew McIntyre because of Scotland, and Justin Gabriel because of South Africa, and it's one of those things where it extends your reach to the market.
Right. Claudio being from Switzerland, that's going to extend to the Swiss market now. And see, but here's my thing, Ashton, to just kind of counteract that point. Whether you like the guy or not, I know when he comes back, they're going to do big things with Wade Barrett to the point where he may be the first English world champion. I mean, I don't think you get any more marketable than that.
Right.
So, again, it kind of just leaves Mason Ryan. And here's the thing. When Ashton told me Mason Ryan's story, I respect any wrestler who tries and cares. So even if I don't have a personal taste for Mason Ryan, I will say kudos to you, dude, for at least giving it your all, beasting in FCW, and just really putting your best foot forward. I don't know. That's the thing. It's not even a personal thing.
Here's the thing. Think about it this way. Brock Lesnar is 33 or 34 years. I think he's 34 years old. But we don't know how dedicated he is to the business. For all we know, this year could end and he'll leave straight up and go back to UFC or something like that. Lord Tenzai is in his 40s already, so he's not going to be around for much longer. Ryback, okay, for me, that is somebody with their feet planted firmly in the ground. They're not going anywhere for a long time. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with the deep roster. And to me, when I think of Ryback and Mason Ryan, I think of Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar from 2003. Obviously, they're not going to put on that kind of match. But as far as, like, Kurt Angle was like a shorter, stockier guy, kind of like Mason Ryan, and kind of like Ryback, my apologies. And Mason Ryan is the big monster killer like Brock Lesnar was. I obviously am not saying that those two guys are as talented in the ring as Lesnar and Angle were. It's just a physical embodiment to me, where And even if you want to just drop the Kurt Angle thing, because I know people are freaking crynging right now at me even mentioning his name in the same sentence.
I'm pretty sure a lot of my viewers right now are going, what the fuck?
And we'll put Ryback in the spot for Lesnar, and even, or better yet, put Ryback in Goldberg's spot, because obviously Goldberg and Lesnar had their big match, well, what was meant to be a big match at WrestleMania 20, and that, even though that failed, the build-up and the potential for it was great, and the only reason it failed is because both the guys were on their way out. So if you want to say that, you can put Ryback in Goldberg's spot, put Mason Ryan in Brock Lesnar's spot, and if they put effort into it, which I really do believe Mason Ryan and Ryback would, you have the potential for a great duo of monsters here. And to me, there really aren't any other legitimate young monsters in the business that look like these guys.
I have to concur. I mean, it's definitely a very different make when you look at big man wrestlers. We've come a long way from the Andre the Giants and the George the Animal Steels of the world. We've polished them up. They're more refined. They definitely have more dimension. And, hearing Mason Ryan's dedication and everything, I wish there was something we could do for him. And maybe we could. I mean, again, when he first came on the scene, I'm honestly shocked that he doesn't have a United States Championship reign under his belt. Because it really seemed like for a little bit they were serious about pulling the trigger on it. And he may have been the one to beat Ziggler, but of course we all know a guy by the name of Zack Ryder came on the scene and got insanely over. So who knows how different history would be if Ryder didn't create his whole revolution. Maybe Mason Ryan would be in a better place, because it really seemed like he was dominating, he was destroying everything. And now he's just, I don't even see him on TV, be it Superstars or elsewhere. So it's crazy.
If WWE decides to keep him and they use him in a capacity like what Ashton just gave me, and it works and it helps me get invested into him, and he actually shows me something, great. I'll come around and say, okay, he's showing me something. I was wrong to say this. But until then, if he was to get released sometime this week or next week, I wouldn't be surprised, and honestly, I wouldn't care. So that's just passing the ball back to John. Who's next on your list, bro?
The next person on my list is JTG. Yo, no. Yeah, really. I gotta tell you, when they first disbanded the team of Crime Time, and then they polished Shad up, and they gave him the suit, and he's just saying, I see all these faces, and they think it's their time, but they're wrong, because it's my time. And I'm like, well, aren't you a Billy Badass? And they had their pay-per-view encounter, their strap match, and I was shocked that JTG won that match. You'd think the guy they were actually trying to build would go over. Not the case. So I'm thinking, well, are they going to go the route of JTG and, do that? That wasn't the case. Now he's just a guy where you really feed him to the new, talents coming in dark matches or whatever. And that's a fine role. My thing is, JTG, I saw a lot of promise in Crime Time, and I think that's why I'm kind of disappointed about this release, shockingly enough. I wish Crime Time was still together. I thought they had a great connection with the crowd. They were a significant level of over. You know what? I think one of the biggest, I don't want to say travesties, that sounds so grave, doesn't it? It's a travesty! But, I do think it is unfair that these guys never got a run with the titles, because I think it would have been a very creative run, a very fun run. But they broke them up, and, JTG is kind of in a place where we're just going to keep feeding him to these new talents, and, to me, that just doesn't work. I don't really see, how he fits in that kind of mode. And, yeah, I really just don't see a place for him.
Honestly, John, I felt like when they broke up Crime Time, that was it. I didn't buy Shad as a singles wrestler. I didn't buy JTG as a singles competitor. If it was not a tag team, these two were not going to go anywhere. Crime Time was seriously over. It is almost, I won't say it's a travesty, but it's baffling that they never became tag team champions. I mean, I don't want to make a video about Crime Time, but it's like they could have done something with Crime Time involving JTG to the point where it felt like he was an integral part of the show. But after breaking up Crime Time, this kid has done nothing but wander around. He has not been involved in much that I remember. He's been on NXT, Superstars most of the time. When he's on SmackDown, he's jobbing to people, and when I mean jobbing to people, I mean everybody. It's sad for JTG. It's funny. He has charisma. He can wrestle, but he doesn't stand out. Well, I won't say he doesn't stand out. He just doesn't give off an aura where I should, pay $50 to see him on my TV.
He has presence, Alex. I just don't think he has enough.
Thank you.
And that's really what it comes down to. When they were Crime Time, hell, they even did a little bit with John Cena. And that's a shame, because, you even put him with the guy, and John Cena was the guy at the time. We're not talking about, in the middle of his rise or whatever. I mean, he was there. And they never got along with the tag titles, and now JTG is just being fed to this new talent, which, I mean, if we really want a person to take on that role and do it well, Yoshitatsu. I mean, the guy's talented, he can have a decent match, and while some people may argue that he should get pushed, that's not going to happen. I mean, we're kind of leaving Dream Street, a la Ted DiBiase. But, I think he could really take on that role of really establishing that new talent in dark matches. So JTG is very, very expendable. Ashton, what do you think about this?
I disagree, because in my eyes, and I honestly think that the WWE is kind of right there with me, JTG and Heath Slater are the two best non-Dolph Ziggler salesmen in the WWE. Ziggler's on a different level, but right beneath him lie Heath Slater, JTG, and Christian, as far as making the opponent look like $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
And the only problem, really, for me with JTG is that the WWE doesn't do anything to give him credibility, so that when somebody beats him, it looks more impressive than just how well he sells their moves. So, to me, I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag, because Heath Slater and JTG, to me, are the two guys that basically have jobs locked up for life just because they're the best whipping boys in the business. But I don't know. Maybe it would help if the WWE would do something with them to make the whipping boys look like they're actually worth beating.
I think the most credible thing JTG's ever done in his career was beat Chris Jericho when Crime Time and Jericho were feuding.
True.
I remember he got a win over Jericho, and everybody was shocked. They're like, what is this shit? What the fuck? And, I actually was supportive of it, because I thought if you're going to make Crime Time incredible against this team...
How much you want to bet that was Jericho's way of screwing with the internet?
But
knowing Chris Jericho, I think Chris Jericho actually did that to make them look like a legit and like an actual tag team to keep their eye on. I think he tried to make him look like somebody... like a legit wrestler. That's Chris Jericho in general.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Because if you remember at the time, Jericho was on a tear. And when you put him against, alongside a team like Crime Time, everybody was thinking, no way in hell. So I think that's why they did it. But that's the most significant thing both JTG and Crime Time as a team, I think, ever really did. And it's a shame, because when you put the two together, it was great. Why in the hell you separated that tag team? Here's a little bit of advice, WWE. Not all tag teams need to separate. I would actually like the idea of some tag teams retiring together. I can understand if you see...
Never! Don't you even go there!
I'm sorry. But,
tag teams were made to be broken up.
But if you're going to break up a tag team, don't half-ass the push of the guy that you're grooming, and then totally screw over the other guy. Because that is the definition of Crime Time in 2012.
That's what we do here at the WWE.
Screw you, Titans Tower. But, yeah, JTG, no hope.
We're bringing the hood to you. Kiss my ass. Ashton, your next person on your list.
Trent Barreta. Really. I really do like watching the guy work, but he is absolutely nothing to the WWE. Just another vanilla midget that they can replace in an instant.
Oh, God damn.
I really honestly don't have a lot to say about this, and I hate that I'm saying it like I am, but yeah, what does Trent Barreta have to offer that 9/10 of the ROH roster couldn't do better?
Can I ask you a question? Because I'm curious about something.
Sure.
What were your thoughts on the Dude Busters? Did you like that?
I absolutely freaking loved the Dude Buster, but guess what? Kalen Croft is gone, so there are no Dude Busters.
That's so true.
Yeah.
We have Chick Busters, though, with AJ and Caitlyn, so we got some.
Yeah, but one of them just slapped the other one's taste out of her frickin' mouth on SmackDown.
This was fucking epic. But John, what you gotta say about this, man?
You know what? This is where I become embarrassed, because I don't watch nearly as much Superstars as I should. But when I do see Trent Barreta, and I'm very impressed by what I see. It's a shame. Trent Barreta is another classic case, guys, of why it's such a travesty that the cruiserweight division is gone. Because if it was still here, Trent Barreta would have a job locked up for life. I could very easily see him being the face of the cruiserweight division if they ever decided to revive it. And he could probably pull a Zack Ryder, start his own YouTube show. I don't think it would do any good, because I do see some charisma there when I've heard the guy speak. I thoroughly enjoyed his matches with Drew McIntyre. Hell, thanks to Trent Barreta, I became a Drew McIntyre fan, because he just sold the offense so well, and they were such great matches, so I really have to thank Trent for that. It's a shame, because again, you've got this great talent, and you've got even greater talent coming in, and you want to give something to everybody because they're all so good, but the nature of the beast is not everybody's going to make it. And, Trent Barreta is a prime example of this very sad reality.
Yeah.
That's really all I have to say about that.
See, I'm going to be honest, I'm biased. I don't disagree with Ashton that he could get released, and if he does, I wouldn't be surprised. But I am a Trent Barreta fan. I've seen his matches against Tyson Kidd on Superstars. I've seen his matches against Drew McIntyre. I also love...
Alex, you don't understand where I'm coming from. I'm a Trent Barreta fan, too.
Oh.
I am not even just a fan. I am a legitimate freaking Dude Busters mark. I think that they have one of the best theme songs in WWE history, and that's Symphony.
Oh, okay. Well, you threw me off when you called him a vanilla midget. I wouldn't think you would say that.
That's all. I guess really all I'm saying is, what does he offer that a majority of the ROH roster and a bunch of independent guys would be able to do just as good, if not better?
Well, I'm not going to be a dick to say this. Well, yes, I am, actually. He's in WWE, not in ROH. He's on WWE TV. That's what he offers. Look, here's my thing about Trent Barreta. He wrestles so awesomely. I think, once again, he has so much potential, like Hunico, if just used in the right capacity. He could be in a great tag team with anybody. Put him in a tag team with Tyson Kidd, for all I care, and just showcase him. If they was to just showcase him, he could actually bring something, worth watching to the product. I could see him as a U.S. champion if they pushed him the right way, right capacity. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I do know what you're saying, but you're still not answering my question.
Which was... What
does he offer that nobody else can do? And I see nothing, because I do realize that he is talented.
I don't think Great Khali can do what he does. I know what you're saying, Ashton.
I'm not saying anybody can do it. I'm saying a lot of guys on the independent circuit that would love to have that spot in the WWE can do it.
Can replace him. I know what you're saying. He's replaceable.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I guess, again, I'm being biased. I like Trent Barreta.
I see the things that Trent Barreta has done, like a front flip out to the floor, and he hits nothing but floor, and it looks nasty. And
Talk about belly, too. He takes bumps like a motherfucker. I'm telling you, he can take...
I think he was the one who had that moment where he suplexed Kidd to the out... I mean, literally, off the top rope to the outside on a bunch of people.
Yeah, Superstars. That was awesome.
He's had moments... And I think that's the shame of it.
That's very true, but the problem is that the moments aren't on television.
And then I was just going to say that, Ashton. It's again. I think I really summed it up succinctly when I said it's a sad reality of our business, but not even talent is enough to make it. Because when you've got a lot of talent, if WWE was in dire need of stars, I do think Trent Barreta would become more relevant if you just look at what the kid does and the kind of charisma that he has, which is probably, I'm going to assume, actually, one of the reasons why you were such a big Dude Busters fan, because the guys had such great chemistry and were just fun.
That's what it is. They're fun. You don't need a lot more than just plain being fun to get my fever,
Right, yeah, exactly.
I'm a Focus fan, and I'm proud of it.
And you should be. Nobody has to call your mama. But,
God.
You've got Cesaro now, you've got Ryback, you've got Sandow next week. Oh yes, I'm excited for that. And then you've got Trent Barreta, who is talented like those guys, but he doesn't have the same presence as those guys. And even if he does, he's not given the proper platform to show it, and therein lies the real problem.
Yeah.
This is probably, next to Hunico, I think him and Trent Barreta are two of the saddest cases in our list, because these guys really could be something. Hell, maybe Trent Barreta, Hunico, and some other talented guy that we think is going to get released should form a new JOB squad, but they're actually talented, so they may get somewhere.
Are you seriously trying to say that Al Snow isn't talented? Come on, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, at giving head.
I see what he did there.
I slay me so bad.
Oh, God. But no, just to pick up where John left off, I agree. As much as it pains me to say it, they didn't really give him a platform to showcase to a broader audience what this kid is about. He got it on Superstars, but who watches Superstars? It's... Fuck, man. It's just something there. And no, I'm just being honest with you. I realize that he could be released, and it's really possible. I'm just gonna be upfront. I don't want it to happen because I guess you could say I'm invested into Trent Barreta, and that's why it's like, fuck. So, I mean... I
know what you mean, dude. Like I said, I really do like the guy. I'm not, like... If it was up to me, he wouldn't get released, but to me, like, just thinking from the WWE's perspective, I wouldn't be even remotely surprised to see his name on that long list of spring cleaning.
Alright, I guess I'll pick it up from here with the third person on my list moving on. I'm not even gonna lie, this is very subjective. I just don't like this guy, the Great Khali. I just want him off my TV. I don't want him anywhere remotely close to my TV set. He's untalented. He is not really worth watching. What else does he have to do? They've already used him as a monster back in 2007. He was world champion. He's worn out his welcome. I don't see any other reason for him to stay other than being a market for the people in India and, you know, the other audience that watched the Great Khali, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
At the same time, they had Jinder Mahal. I think he can be a better replacement for the Great Khali, honestly. I don't like the Great Khali, and to be quite honest, I want him to get released. And if he does, hallelujah. But I can see him being released because they had nothing else to use him for. They already have enough they don't have enough big men, but I don't know. I just don't feel like he should be in the roster. I don't think he really brings anything different than just being another big man that the WWE can go get anywhere else. But Ash, what you gotta say about this, man?
If you're gonna cut one of those guys, make it Mahal, not Khali. At least Khali is a proven draw in India. Mahal is he's not even Indian. So what are you doing?
He's Canadian, that's right.
Yeah, he's from frickin' Montreal.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I would prefer that if they have to get rid of one of the two, that they make it Mahal, if for no other reason, because, like I said, he's got more marketability, but, I mean, for all I care, get rid of both of them.
So, you really don't give a shit about Khali, pretty much.
Well, here's my thing. Khali scares me, and I feel more bad for him than I feel scared of him. And I don't think that that's really an element that a wrestler should have. You shouldn't be scared that they're going to freaking break their neck.
Really?
And I do, I get scared for the Great Khali. And, look at him. You should not be scared for that guy.
He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, honestly. It's almost like he's going to injure himself in every single match. I mean, what you guys say about this, John?
You know, it's so funny, guys, because I was thinking about it a lot today since I knew we were going to do this video, and my mind did turn to Khali, and I feel like he would have been such a great tool to propel somebody else. It wasn't really a matter of propelling himself, but propelling somebody else, because we think about how the guy debuted. You know, attacking The Undertaker, assaulting The Undertaker, manhandling him, beats him at a pay-per-view, completely decimates him. And you know, just goes on this tear. Got to work with the biggest names imaginable, from Taker to Triple H, John Cena, you know, you name them, he faced them. And I feel like, you know, if you were going to have any kind of a big kind of streak or some kind of steamrolling kind of thing, who better than a guy that looks like Khali? And the matches could have been very short, unless you're working with, the bigger names, and the closest you probably get is maybe 10, 15 minutes. And you do that, and you just have the squash. And then the guy who finally beats Khali, you know, would be like, holy shit. You know, he beat a guy who beat the likes of, you know, Undertaker or Triple H. That I could have seen Khali as a really dominant force that could have really legitimized and solidified a place for somebody else. But as far as, you know, the career in perspective, when we look at what he did to further himself, I mean, he is a former world champion, which makes me shudder every time I say it. He eliminated Kane and Batista in a battle royal. he did beat The Undertaker in his first official match, which was on a pay-per-view, which was crazy. And there was a time, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was young, but, there was a time I was a Khali fan when he was on Raw and feuding with John Cena over the WWE Championship. I enjoyed the program. So I can't even really say I'd be lying to you guys if I said that every ounce of TV that this guy produced was awful. I enjoyed some of the things he did. I just feel like it's a matter now where it's like, especially after he beat Cody Rhodes last Friday, why? Why? It's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to headline 5 straight WrestleManias and win 10 world titles? No.
Exactly. We don't see any long-term use for this guy. For him to beat somebody like a Cody Rhodes, when it should have been the other way around, it's like, this is doing absolutely nothing for anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And that's when you have to think about what superstars like these, with the kind of look and the presence of a guy like Khali, and especially how they carry themselves and how they go about their work. You need to think about long-term. And that's why I was thinking long-term when I scaled it back and I said, think about how the guy debuted. I would have had him go on a friggin' tear. And then the guy who finally unseats Khali's dominance, you look at and you're thinking, holy crap. That's a guy to look out for. They didn't do that, clearly. And, I just feel like it's run its course. That the best thing that the guy ever did that really got a huge laugh out of me was when he turned heel and put the vice grip on Ranjin Singh. I thought that was hilarious. Why? Because I have a very morbid sense of humor.
Yeah, you know.
That's just me. I didn't need you to validate what I just said. I'll let your foolish pride get in the middle of this commentary. It's like there's really no purpose for Khali now except to dance and look stupid. And let's be honest, we got that enough with Eugene. I don't really need it again. So.
Wow.
Oh, shoot. Are we done with Great Khali? Because I don't think we should.
I certainly hope so.
Me too. I hope we are. Both WWE and fans. But, John, who's next on your list, man?
The most controversial person, I think, collectively, considering how the internet is recently perceiving him, Alex Riley.
Before you click that dislike button, listen to what he has to say. Please.
Oh no, you're gonna click it regardless. It's an inevitability. I just all hope we can laugh about it.
Just wait till he tells you. Let him give you a reason first.
Here's my thing, and I'm just gonna put it in just like a sentence or two. He was given a big ball, and he dropped it. At least a big ball by WWE standards. Miz. Whether we love him or hate him, you guys know how I feel about the guy. This is not a video about the Miz. It's not going to become a video about the Miz, what have you. But he does get heat, and he is a relevant heel, especially at that time because he was coming off the heels of his WWE Championship reign, and he was just closing the feud with John Cena. So we especially need to look at the time span in which, we're talking about Alex Riley now. Riley has a great segment where he beats down the Miz, and he's getting Riley chants, but I realize it's not really because they were invested in you. They just love seeing the Miz be at the receiving end of something awful.
Exactly.
And that's just it. The guy cannot be a lightning rod on his own. He didn't even win NXT, and that's the funny thing. Kaval did. And Kaval didn't ask for it.
Shut up, man. Screw you, but he's telling the truth, though.
He is, and I was going to say before I actually trolled that, it's a shame because I thought Kaval, had a lot more, we could have expanded him a lot more, done a lot more with him. Longevity was the word I was looking for. I don't see any longevity in Alex Riley. Like, he gives interviews and he's like, oh, it was so great. I got to be with The Miz when he was WWE champion and I got to go to a WrestleMania. Did you? Did you really? Did you really go to that WrestleMania? Think about that for a second. No, you didn't. So, yeah, Alex Riley, brags about all this stuff. WrestleMania, mentoring The Miz, working with guys like John Cena. If by working he means getting squashed, then yes, all of Alex Riley's points have validity to them. It's just, it's funny because I think the guy does have a look that's definitely marketable. And, I even kind of like the gimmick whole varsity villain kind of thing, which I guess seems kind of out of place when you look at the Be a Star campaigns, and most bullying takes place in schools. So what's Riley going to do? Back somebody up against their own locker? And just stuff them in there?
It's like, wasn't you a bully back in the day? Why are you trying to be a role model for kids? Sit your ass down. Huh?
Well, Alex, we won't have to say WTF until we see Mark Henry or Brock Lesnar do one of those ads, and it's not a parody.
Oh, God.
Oh, if only we could dream. But yeah, Riley, I don't see anything. I know they've got the whole Save Alex Riley campaign going, and, I can respect that if you're a genuine fan of Alex Riley. I only think some people are on board because they'd like to think that they have some influence in the WWE when they don't, but that's just me, and I really don't even think he's a guy worth saving. So that's just me. What do you think about that, Alex?
Here's my thing with Alex Riley. I've said this before. He had a chance to get over when he was feuding with The Miz. He blew it, so he has nobody else to blame but himself. He may have the look, but when he was given the opportunity to shine, he didn't do it. I get it. He's a good heel. And I agree, he is a good heel, especially as the varsity villain. But if that is all you're good at, you won't get far with that. I don't think his wrestling ability is... It's not horrible. It's decent, but it's not fantastic. He has a good look. So does other people in WWE. He can talk in the microphone. Yes, he has good microphone skills, but he doesn't have anything that would really make me say, okay, I would pay $50 to see this guy. Now, could he show me that? Sure, I'd like to see it. If given the platform to do it and he does show me it, awesome. I'll buy more into him. But unfortunately, if he does get released in the upcoming spring cleaning, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't blame WWE because he didn't, take advantage of his opportunity when he had it. That's all I gotta say about that. Ashton, take it from here.
And, like usual, of course, I freaking disagree with you guys. I feel like this is starting to become a bad reality show, but I do like Alex Riley. I don't think he should get released. And to really emphasize my point here, I think that the biggest mistake that the WWE made was not necessarily turning him face, because, it was pretty much inevitable. He was going to have to turn on The Miz at some point, and they chose a really great time to do it. My biggest problem was that they didn't give him anything after his feud with The Miz. And really on top of that, I feel like they should have turned him back heel after he was done with The Miz, like a temporary face run just to get rid of The Miz, then go back to being a heel, because it's the varsity villain. You can't be a villain and be a good guy. That just doesn't work. So, to me, I think that Alex Riley is the ideal case of somebody that's getting misused right now. I will defend him because I do see a lot in him. He was also an FCW World Champion, and that does mean a lot. Not only to me, but to the WWE, because they're the ones that really kind of have the most say in who gets that title and who doesn't. So, if they're willing to go out of their way to make sure that a certain person gets that title, that's kind of like the step below the Intercontinental title. The Intercontinental title means next in line. The FCW title means next in line after that guy. I do think that Alex Riley has way too much potential to let go at this point. And he really is better in the ring than he's been improving like crazy in the ring. I think that they made a huge mistake by giving him that lifted DDT as a finisher, because his finisher leading up to that, and even on NXT when he was there, was one of the best finishers in wrestling history, in my opinion, the TKO, the Fireman's Carry Cutter. I absolutely love that move, and he pulled it off really well. He called it like School's Out or You're Dismissed or something, but that was his varsity villain gimmick. If they turn him face, let him keep using that move, because that finisher is high impact, that pops the crowd like crazy. And he actually used two of the moves that popped me personally the most, that being that TKO and an STO, and he executes them both very well. So, to me, I think that he has a lot of unfinished business in the WWE. It's way too early to let him go. So, that's pretty much my piece on Riley.
Ashton, when we look at your FCW Superstar Spotlight, which everybody should check out on your channel at Eonizzle, you've done 3 of them, and you did Damian Sandow, you did Richie Steamboat, and you've done Antonio Cesaro most recently. Right. And 2 out of those 3 guys have held the FCW World title. Am I not mistaken? Because didn't Antonio Cesaro not hold the title?
None of them did. None of them have ever held the title.
Okay, then that point is totally lost. I was gonna make a point about, maybe there is something to say when you've got these guys coming in and they've held the title. I was way off base. My apologies. But still, that shouldn't deter anybody from checking out your Superstar Spotlights, because they are epic. So do that. And yeah, Alex Riley, because of that, because my point missed, that clearly means that you suck and I don't. So leave. Just leave. Alex,
Okay, I'll say it like this. Again, I'm not saying Alex Riley could not be somebody in WWE. Maybe he can. I was just making the statement. If WWE decides to fire him or get rid of him, I can't blame them because when he got the chance to showcase himself and really make something out of what they gave him.
That's the thing, though, dude. He didn't really get that much of a chance.
I mean, come on. He got a big-ass pop when he was feuding with The Miz. I mean, I don't
but that's the thing, though. That was because of The Miz. That wasn't because of him. They didn't give himself a chance to shine. All they did was put this basically faceless, nameless guy against The Miz, and because The Miz was so huge as a heel at the time, the other guy got a huge pop. I mean, you could have put in Benny Kamer, the guy that got squashed by Ryback 3 weeks ago, against The Miz as a babyface, and he would have gotten that kind of a pop. But to me, Alex Riley, as a wrestler, as a talent, is too good to just let go.
I'm still saying, though, but whether it's a necessary platform or not, that's still a platform to get you over. That's still a platform to establish you as somebody, and although it's not the best platform, think about it this way. If he still had the talent and the abilities to stay over, he would have stood over. Apparently, he didn't stay over because he wasn't ready yet.
You can't stay over when you're on one pay-per-view. I think it might have even... No, it was one pay-per-view. He was in one pay-per-view match against The Miz. He won it, and then he wasn't on TV within 2 months of that. So you can't say that it's his fault because he was over. And he was still...
The main event?
He finished. He was still getting huge pops on Superstars and NXT when he would make his entrances and win the matches. So he was still over. The difference is WWE refused to put him on TV.
Time out. Wait a second. We forget that he was in a Piper's Pit segment with The Miz. With Roddy Piper, he was in the main event scene with John Cena. He tag teamed with John Cena in the main event scene. It wasn't just a program with The Miz. He got other opportunities to really establish himself. Guess what? He didn't. That is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that he can't do it, Ash. I understand where you're coming from. I think he's a good talent. Unfortunately, I don't think he is diverse enough to impress the WWE, unfortunately, and that is kind of sad when I think about it. My point is, if he was to get released in this upcoming spring cleaning, I wouldn't be surprised because, again, he got an opportunity to really get himself over. He didn't do it. Who can we blame for that? Riley.
Let me ask you this, Alex. How long after his one-on-one match with The Miz did the main event match with John Cena and the Piper's Pit happen? Because if the answer is less than a month, your point is moot, because I'm saying that he was taken off TV within 2 months after that match, even though he was still very open.
I think it happened within the time of his feud with The Miz. I can't remember when it was. Yeah.
That's my point. Basically, what I'm saying is he got over. He was over, but then he got taken off TV. And when you get taken off TV, there is nothing can happen but for your momentum to die down. If they would have kept him on TV for a good 3 or 4 months after that, then yeah, maybe he would have had a chance to get over. But the way I see it, he didn't get an opportunity.
Well, when they did that to Ryder, they got We Want Ryder chance. I mean, again, I don't see people going.
They took Ryder off TV for like a week, and that's when they had the We Want Ryder chance at Survivor Series. I'm talking about they took Alex Riley off TV what felt like permanently. Now, and really, if you want to think about it, look at Zack Ryder. He was the most over babyface in the company, and I will go as far as to say that in the November to December reign. I will absolutely say that. And then what did they do? Kane took him out, and he was off TV for weeks. Not just 1 week, not just 2 weeks. I think it was like a month and a half to 2 months that he was off TV. And when he came back, his momentum was dead. That's exactly what happened to Alex Riley.
Okay, you know what? It is similar. I will give you that.
Alex, are you saying, like, with Alex Riley, it was a case of, fading away rather than burning out? Like with Ryder,
He kind of faded away.
That makes no sense at all.
Well, I mean, because you figure Ryder got rid of at the expense of somebody who was on a tear in Kane and who they were feeding to, fuel another program with Kane and Cena. With Ryder, it just seemed like after his feud with The Miz, you said they gave him nothing and he just kind of faded away. And now that he's...
That's the problem, though. They didn't give him anything. What are you supposed to do if you get taken off TV?
Make something of yourself with... Okay.
Well, I mean, Ryder used YouTube. I mean, I'm not saying...
Thank you very much.
He got scrutinized for it. He got scrutinized for it. The WWE didn't tell people to try and get themselves over this year because of what Zack Ryder did.
Yeah, but Ashton, let's be fair here. Scrutiny translated into a United States Championship win that got a huge pop.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you know what? Got a huge pop, but look at him now. Nobody cares about him anymore.
Yes, look at him now. We can say that, Ashton, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but that wasn't a direct cause of him doing those YouTube videos. That was a cause of WWE mishandling what they had because of him building a platform for himself. And that's why I think even Jim Ross is endorsed that way. He says, maximize your minute, make every minute count. And if Alex Riley isn't getting minutes for himself, take matters into your own hands. Do something, even on like Twitter or videos or something. Put yourself out there.
He does. You probably don't follow him on Twitter, so you wouldn't know that, but he does.
Like what? What does he do?
He's coming up with catchphrases and T-shirts and everything on Twitter.
John, did you know about that?
To be fair, I don't follow him on Twitter, but here's my
exactly.
But here's my thing.
Let me ask you this. Knowing that he does that on Twitter and knowing that the only reason you didn't know that is because you don't follow him on Twitter, what more do you want him to do?
Well, he
Maybe
can give us a reason to follow him on Twitter. Why should I follow him on Twitter for? Zack Ryder gave me a reason to watch his YouTube show. Go ahead.
I think if you had
let me put it really simply. I think Alex Riley has the potential to, within the next 5 years, be in the same spot as Randy Orton is right now.
I don't disagree with you. That's a big-ass statement that I think is really crazy to make, but I don't disagree with you. I think he has, there's a person in the call who said bullshit. Actually, that is a radical statement, but I'm not going to say it is impossible. What I am telling you, Ashton, I think you're missing the point here, okay? Alex Riley, despite whatever happened to him, whether it was WWE who pulled the rug under him or nothing, he did not get over as expected of him.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. That's my point. He did get over.
He didn't stay over.
Exactly, and that's not his fault. Nobody can stay over when they're not on TV, dude. You can't stay over if you're not on TV.
Can I finish my statement, please? I said that, dude. If it was WWE who pulled the rug from under him for reasons why he didn't stay over, fact of the matter is, Alex Riley isn't over now, and WWE apparently can't find anything else to do with him. And if they find something to do with him, and he does get back over and he becomes a mainstay in WWE, awesome! I said that I some time ago in this video. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm not saying that he can't be over. I'm not saying he can't be somebody useful in WWE. Again, I've said this like 10,000 times already. I wouldn't be surprised if he got released because he didn't take advantage of the opportunity. He didn't.
You not being surprised by him being released, I obviously can't argue because that's you being, like, personal opinion. But to say that he didn't take advantage of the opportunity is what I will disagree with. Because I feel like he did what he could with what he was given.
Well, okay, then that just makes it even worse, because if that's the best he can do, then yeah, sorry. Sorry, kid. That's being a dick, and it is being
I mean, since I was the guy who had him on his personal list, which is what I really find hilarious about all this, I feel like, was it entertaining for what it was? Yes, but again, I have to say, I don't even think it was because of Riley, and that's my problem. Miz was such a good heel. How much can we actually attribute to Riley rather than the people he was associated with? In my opinion, it's the same thing with Del Rio. If I really want to make a comparison, I think Del Rio is only as relevant as he is because look at the people he associates with when he comes back from injuries or just whenever, when he came in. I mean, my God, his debut match was against Rey Mysterio. I think you're only as relevant as the people you work with. And again, my age-old saying, which everybody seems to take a liking to, you are what you're booked, which I guess may further your point, Ashton. But my thing is, sooner or later, you're going to be working with in fact, you said something about Wade Barrett one time that really made me raise my eyebrows and go, you know what, that's so true. Because, I mean, I'm a Wade Barrett fan. But you said, you know what, John, one of these days he's going to work with somebody that he's going to have to carry and that isn't going to make him necessarily look good. And WWE's going to be like, oh, fuck, that's where we are. That's how I feel with Alex Riley. Because I feel like you can associate him with all these top guys. But when you put him with somebody to really test his star power, WWE's going to go, oh, shit. And that's just me. And I personally do not see it. I would love to be wrong. Hell, I am 99% of the time. But I do not see it here.
Can we say Alex Riley can carry the Great Khali? I don't think so at all.
Name 5 guys that can.
Sheamus did a pretty decent job. Dolph Ziggler did a pretty decent job.
I was going to say Dolph Ziggler, John Cena.
John Cena can. Taker can. Kane can probably do it too. He actually did.
Kane, I thought, did. But again, I think what you're asking, actually, just like what I'm saying, really does come down to personal opinion at the same time.
It is personal opinion. It's all it is. Yeah.
I could say those 5, and if somebody watching this video could be like, my God, John's on some really good crack. Get me some. It's really just a matter of your perception of those 5 guys. And Khali. I'm sure there's somebody out there that probably thinks Khali's a good worker. And I think that's the thing with this. Yeah, I'm just saying, Alex. That's how diverse opinions are, and that's what we're dealing with. To me, I look at Alex Riley, and I think there is something there, but not what I think WWE sees. I think WWE almost overrated Alex Riley with that whole program. I just don't see that level of star power, and that's just me. So, is that all we really want to say about Alex Riley? Can we move on?
I just want to, kind of get the point across that I would be shocked and extremely disappointed if he would get released. So,
okay,
fair enough.
And I wouldn't, and that's how we're going to end it. So, Ashley, who's next on your list?
Up next on my list is Johnny Curtis. That's right, Johnny Curtis. Yeah, that's kind of my point. I like Johnny Curtis. He's a very passionate guy, but he has nothing. Like, let me put it this way: he's good at almost everything, but that's it. Nothing about him stands out. He's not great at anything. I don't even want to say that he is a jack of all trades and master of none, because I think that calling him a jack of all trades is demeaning, and I do respect the guy. I really do. I think that he has, the passion and the desire to work in the business, but he's just so bland.
I've seen Johnny Curtis on NXT Season 4 and some of his feud with Derek Bateman right now in NXT, if that even still going on. I agree. There's nothing about him that would make me say, why should I care about this guy? Yeah, he's decent. He's a good worker and everything like that, but there are tons of other wrestlers that are just as good, who are even better.
Johnny Curtis, I think, is a classic case of what I just said in the Alex Riley segment. You are what you're booked. The guy wins NXT. He was promised a tag team title match with this pro, who at the time was R-Truth.
Oh, yeah.
R-Truth a little while after that would turn heel, which would make it completely irrelevant. And the segments they'd have Curtis do for his SmackDown debut were just so cheeky. My debut really grabs a plate of, cake, and he blows out the candle, takes the cake, shoot me. And then, you look at NXT, he's got, the grease, black jacket, and the toothpick in his mouth, and he's, the stalker of Maxine, and he's trying to get with that, which we'll get to her later. And I'm just it's not that I have anything against the guy. I'm kind of with Ashton, because I saw the promo he cut when he won NXT. He cried, said it was, really hard struggle for him to get there. I think he had a dysfunctional family that he had to overcome, and I can respect and identify with all that. It's just, if the WWE doesn't care about you, how am I going to? If I'm your consumer and you're putting a product forward to me, but you're admitting to me with how you book him, you don't even have to say anything, because booking speaks 1,000 words. And the way you book a guy tells me, we really don't care about this guy, but I'm sure you'll find something redeeming about him. No, I'm sorry. You don't take the cake. You don't really take anything, except potentially a pink slip, which I wouldn't be surprised. I really just don't see anything worth saving in this guy. And maybe that's just me not really being into the product, because I don't watch a lot of NXT. Admittedly, the only thing I really watch of NXT, which is how I call Johnny Curtis, was keeping tabs on Derek Bateman, who, ironically, just the opposite of Johnny Curtis, I see a lot in. And that's the only reason I even really knew about Curtis and what he was doing, because when I saw him kind of playing the whole stalker, I'm like, WTF, what is this? Really nothing more to say here.
Honestly, I agree with you. I can't really say much about Johnny Curtis either. Nothing really special about him. He's replaceable big time. So
there we go. Easy enough.
Easy enough. All right. Getting down to the nitty-gritty now. What are we talking about? The last people on our list are all female wrestlers. And I'm going to start things off with, what a surprise, Alicia Fox. I do not like this woman whatsoever. Let me just say this, guys. Is she a good wrestler? Oh, my God. No, she's not a good wrestler, but she is a good seller. There's a difference between being a good wrestler and a good seller.
Hey, Alex, do you mean like when Karma legitimately dislocated her elbow?
She sold that pretty well. She had no choice. But my thing is this. I do think she has had some decent to good matches. I think her match with Melina, I don't say it's the best match ever. Like, what's her name from Tough Enough said. I remember her match with Melina. It was good. I'll say it like that. But her matches recently as a face have been one of the most sloppiest matches I've ever seen. I think me and my friend Preston saw a match with her where she came in a tag team match and she botched everything. Her run, her elbow shots, her leap off the top rope. I think she botched her axe kick. She sure did. She missed her opponent and her opponent fell before she even hit her. It looked nasty. She even injured Beth Phoenix unintentionally. The poor Beth Phoenix. She's dangerous. Honestly, she's not really a good worker. Is she ugly? Personally, I think she is. If you think she's fine, whatever. But
hey, I can't complain. I don't think she's ugly.
Whatever.
I thought she was hotter when she was in her wedding planner phase, personally, but that's just me.
I don't think she's really worth it. I don't like her. I think she's not a really good worker. And she sucks on the microphone. Oh my God, her microphone skills.
Hey, Alex.
No, I'm not doing it, Ashton. Oh, God.
I'm not asking you to do anything. I have a question.
What?
Did you have a Foxy holiday?
Get rid of this bitch. John,
there are a few points I want to make about Alicia, if I may.
No.
How dare you? How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. I think the best Alicia Fox match is the one where nobody dies, because I find her to be incredibly dangerous.
Oh my God.
No, Alex, I'm being dead serious. I don't trust her in the ring. I cringe every time she comes out.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, John. She's scary in the ring.
She is, yes. My thing is, I can sum up Alicia Fox and the current state of the Divas division with this. On that horrendous, there was a horrendous extra segment, even more so than when Marina Menounos told Beth Phoenix, maybe I'll show you some moves. Oh, it's coming back up again. Oh, hold on. Oh, that was a hard swallow.
Oh, God.
Okay. And she asked Alicia Fox, what are you really doing to prepare for WrestleMania? And she's like, well, I really just got to think about what I'm going to wear. That says it all. Not, I'm going to train hard, or I'm hitting the gym, or I'm mentally preparing. No, it's my attire. It's what I come to the ring with, and it's what I leave the ring with.
I guess that's also really what I hate about her. You got all these divas who are actually focused on being good wrestlers, and you got this bitch who's talking about, I'm just looking forward to what I'm going to wear. Fuck you.
And that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. I think she sums up the philosophy of not only the current state of the Divas division, with an exception of a few, because there's an exception to every rule, but really how the WWE, I think, just views Divas. I think that one statement encapsulates that whole thing perfectly. And, I look at Alicia Fox, and yes, she was a Divas champion, and to be honest, her reign wasn't the worst. At least in my personal opinion. Have there been maybe one or two good Alicia Fox matches? Sure, but I'm sure I can name one or two good Jack Swagger matches. Nobody asked me to actually do that. But, I'm sure I could. But, I'm sure I could. The idea is, with Karma coming back, really the last thing I'd want to see Alicia do is be fed to Karma. Because I remember when she sold the implant buster, it was hilarious because she was screaming on the way down. Oh, you
had no choice, John, remember. I would make sure she sold that shit.
Wow. You guys are freaking sick, I swear.
I could make, for my bestest friend for Everest, Alex here, I could make a little dig about how she's Daniel Bryan in drag, which is probably the most relevant anybody has ever made Alicia Fox. You're welcome. But I really just don't see anything redeeming in her.
Oh, you guys are freaking brutal, I swear. But, I don't know. Alicia Fox, to me, I honestly wouldn't have a problem with her sticking around if she would just be used as, that whipping boy like I'm talking about with JTG. But she gets pushed. And because of that, go away.
Thank you. That's it.
The idea that this woman has scored victories over the likes of, the Molinas, the Beth Phoenixes, the Natalias, beating names like that. Eve Torres is somebody she beat. And people can have their fuck Eve Torres campaigns, which I know they have. Even my good friend Preston briefly had one. But I think she is talented, unlike Alicia Fox. And the idea that she's beaten all the talented women on the roster almost makes me scared because I don't think she is going to go anywhere. But good God, again, the best Alicia Fox match that's on par with, like, Triple H Taker or Taker Shawn Michaels is the one where nobody dies. Like, that's worth celebrating. That's worth me getting out of my chair and giving it a standing ovation because I'm like, thank God nobody got injured. And it's just, I cringe. Every time her axe kick, even when she nails it properly, Alex, makes me cringe. Because I'm thinking, ooh. And it's just, really, it's for the well-being and the welfare of the other workers that I would really want to ensure her release. It's not even a lack of talent or a lack of presence or anything like we mentioned previously. It really does come down to a matter of welfare. I worry for the fellow divas when she's sharing a locker room.
I mean, you think about the ass kick. It's supposed to be hit across the back of your head, the back of your neck, right? She either hits it on their back, or she does hit them on the head, but she hits it before they fall or after they fall. Most of the time, it doesn't look good either way. I think she needs to go. Anything else you want to say about this, man?
Absolutely not. I know Vince is far more interested in other divas. In fact, I think his flavor of the month right now is Eve Torres. She's his personal favorite. So I don't know what kind of favor Alicia Fox has, but if she doesn't have any, then I would be glad to tell her to have a foxy future and then endeavor her ass.
Let's move on to the next person. John, who's on your list?
I'll be very curious about the audience response to this one. Maxine, who some people may not know this, is Melina's little sister. This is not a personal vendetta to avenge John Morrison, I swear.
Sure.
Okay, 76%. In all seriousness, guys, with me with Maxine, and again, I gotta be honest with everybody, I'm not that in tune with NXT, so I could be wrong, but I have been keeping up, with the Caitlyn, Derek Bateman, Maxine, Johnny Carter storyline, and while I enjoy her on the mic or like backstage, and I think she can be a part of good backstage segments, something good and something unique, I think we really should stress, are two different things. Somebody can do something good, and you can find somebody else to do that same good thing and potentially even do it better. And while Maxine does do fun stuff that I enjoy, while she's this raving lunatic bitch who slaps her husband and screams and just is like so demanding and demeaning and all that crap, you could turn any of the divas heel, pump up the volume, and probably get them to do those same things. I mean, a Beth Phoenix doing that I think would be even better, because look at Beth Phoenix, And as far as, like, in-ring goes, I'm really, not that impressed. I really don't see anything redeeming, and I think when we get to Ashton, at least, based on the Skype call we had, previously discussing the ideas for this video, he said he was the opposite. He thinks she has at least something redeeming in-ring and really isn't fun, or not fun, but really doesn't have any kind of presence with the backstage of the mic that I like. But I don't see anything. I heard she was trained by Dusty Rhodes, to which she's grateful. She's gotten great training, and she is grateful, and I do think she does put her best foot forward. It really is just a case of me not feeling it. Not a vendetta, not any hatred like Alicia Fox, where I think, she's dangerous. She's nowhere near dangerous. It's just a matter of not feeling it. So
I'm just gonna be honest. Guys, I'm biased when it comes to Maxine. I think she's hot. I don't mind looking at her in NXT. As a matter of fact, she's part of the reason why I'm watching NXT. Because I like just looking at her. She's fucking hot. Personality-wise, I think she has the personality to be, in my opinion, a good boss. I would buy her as a GM of SmackDown, or at least a personal assistant of SmackDown. I think she has that personality and, that presence to her. In-ring, I agree with you. I'm not really impressed with her in-ring ability. She's decent. I'm not going to say she's Alicia Fox. Hell no. She's far
from hell no. Hell no.
She's decent inside the ring, but I recall a match she had with Caitlyn on Season 3 of NXT. One of the worst diva matches I've ever seen. It was not the best match to watch.
That match actually got worst worked match of the year from PWI.
Wow. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's the prestigious award that went to Maraska versus Sharmell.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That match is freaking amazing to laugh at.
5-star. But yeah, guys, here's my thing when it comes to Maxine. If she does get released, I understand. However, I think they could use her in a capacity where she doesn't have to be released and could be helpful for WWE. She could be a really good valet. Or if she was...
I was thinking that, Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, not to cut you off, I was thinking valet, but we would have to really test the waters of that. I know she did manage Derek Bateman once when he had a match on SmackDown, which is probably a brand he should be on regularly because he's awesome, against Teddy DiBiase.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I don't really think she did that much. But again, they have to give it time. The most I would go with Maxine as a valet role. So I just want to tell you, I completely sign on with you with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say give her the Divas Championship. Well, you know what? It's the Divas Championship, so fuck that title. I wouldn't say give her the Women's Championship to further emphasize my statement. My thing is, Maxine could be used for something. I think if WWE was to find something worthwhile to keep her on TV, even if it's like ring announcer, fuck it. If I get to look at her, I'll be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? But they can find something for Maxine, in my opinion. So I don't think that she should be released, but if she is, I would understand, and honestly, it would be a shame for me. But that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. I play devil's advocate. No, you guys are wrong. That person has value, but I really don't care about Maxine. Let her go. And it's funny because we have such different reasons. To me, she is, and I don't even mean in a way that makes me hate her, just in a way that makes me like want to mute the TV. Horrible on the mic. I don't know. She speaks so strangely. I don't know. It's a lot about diction because, like, the way she speaks and she emphasizes all the wrong syllables, and it's just weird. And it almost makes it difficult to listen to her talk for me. I don't know, but yeah, like, I agree with you, Alex. I think she's nice to look at, but if that was a good enough reason, Maurice would still be with the company, so it's not.
Oh my
so
God!
true.
Why did you release Maurice? Oh my Maurice! Why Maurice?
Alex,
oh my
Alex, do you need a moment?
No. I'm
Do you need
okay.
a moment? Hey,
This
Alex,
is fine.
keep this in mind. She left the company as the record holder for a number of days as Divas champion. Not even Beth Phoenix touched it. So.
What the fuck is wrong with you, WWE? Why Maurice? Maurice. Okay, I'm back.
I kind of want to play the Titanic track as the ship's sinking while you're just going on that whole, no, Maurice, why?
No, but I agree with Ashley in a sense. I don't agree with the fact that she's horrible on the microphone. That's just personal taste. I think she's good on the microphone. But I do agree with Ashley in the sense that I understand, really, that's just how it is. But I do think, again, she could be used for something, and that's how I'm going to end it. But I'm pretty sure, do you have anything else you had to say about that, Ashley?
Not really, no.
John?
Nope.
Okay, who's the last diva on your list, Ashley?
The last diva on my list is most likely going to be one of the most controversial people in this video. And I really want to emphasize that I do not want this diva to be released. I just wouldn't be surprised if she would be released. The diva that I'm referring to is Tamina Snuka. And again, I don't want her to be released, and I really hope that last name saves her from being released. But generally, if the WWE pushes a diva and they get over, but they don't get over in like a freaking Trish Stratus, Beth Phoenix kind of way where the crowd goes crazy for them, they don't last very long. And let's face it, guys, they gave her shot. They gave her run, and she didn't get that over.
Well, to take the ball from here, I'm just going to say it. If they release Tamina, I will not be a happy camper. I feel like with her heritage, with her wrestling ability, I mean, for fuck's sake, she's one of the few divas inside that goddamn company that can actually wrestle. If that's even a term in WWE anymore, I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm over-exaggerating for a reason. But no, she's too talented. She has a heritage. She loves wrestling. She's hot. She's awesome to look at. Why the fuck would you release her? That's like them releasing Maria, which was absolutely retarded. What the fuck?
Well, and another reason that she's in this spot for me is because she is no spring chicken. She's actually 31 years old, I think it was, and all of the divas other than her are under 30. So the WWE, if they give somebody a chance at that age and they don't make the most of it, they usually don't last very long.
But that's just my thing. She shouldn't be released. If she is, I will not be a happy camper. And I'm just going to say it like that. I mean, John, what you got to say about this?
in my opinion, she had Divas Match of the Year, which I know, I'll say it right now. That's not saying a lot at all. With Beth Phoenix at Chamber, I got behind her so quick when they added the Snuka and the video package showing, her father doing the splash, and then she does the splash, and her dominating people like Natalya. My thing is, and maybe this will make me hypocritical because we had this whole debate with Alex Riley, but I feel like, you give her a shot at the Divas Championship, she loses, and she's not even a blip on the contender radar anymore. She just goes on being Divas Champion forever. Now, don't you think that a diva who really gave Beth a run for her money, and I think out of all the defenses she had, Tamina was the one who gave her the most, run for her money. I'm not even going to say the Bellas who eventually dethroned her because of injury, and the previous match was a distraction by Kelly. I'm talking solely by their own ability, by their own grit. Tamina stood alone. And the idea that she didn't get a WrestleMania match, she wasn't even a part of WrestleMania, that upset me. I understand it.
That upset you, John. Don't get me wrong. It irritates me, but...
So Ashton, maybe I am a hypocrite, because again, it's kind of like what you were saying about Alex Riley. It's like they didn't follow up. She's a Divas Championship contender. The division is pretty shallow, and, they don't even follow up. They've kind of tossed her around. I don't like that either. Sometimes they'll make her a valet and pair her up with somebody, Santino, for God's sakes. Now they paired her up with somebody else, and I'm forgetting who it was. Oh, yeah, Darren Young. Apparently her and Darren Young have some on-screen thing going, I think, or maybe it's even real life.
It's on NXT. So, it's like, honestly, Ashton, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if they're going to do her like that, then I would just prefer her get released. Because I hate when a really talented woman gets sticked around like that, where she's doing one thing 1 month, and then a completely different thing that's polar opposite of what she was doing the next. And I'm not saying she can't be good at those things, but pick one and stick with it. She was a valet for the Usos. I expected that trio to go somewhere. I mean, for God's sakes, they debuted laying out the Hart Dynasty with 3 consecutive splashes. I mean, that was a sight to me, because especially at the time the Hart Dynasty were tag champions, and Natalya, to me, was really somebody who should still be upheld at a very high standard in the Divas division. And Natalya's another one, but again, that's not for this commentary. It's a shame. And I'm again, Ashton, you said it. It's not that you want her released. It's just looking at it the way it is. And you're absolutely 100% right. It shouldn't be right, but it is. And it really does tick me off. And I think what ticks me off isn't even that you said it. It's the idea that you're right in saying it. Yeah, I guess I'll come up here and say it as well. It is kind of hypocritical of me that, I'd be more in favor of keeping Tamina around and not Alex Riley, because their situations are very similar in a sense. It wasn't intentional of me being hypocritical, of course, but biased. I am a fan of Tamina. I don't say I'm not a fan of Alex Riley either. I'm more of a fan of Tamina, of course. And she can do so much with the Divas division. I just see the Divas division right now in such shambles. And even though they're trying their best to make it work, it's not really working. I think you have a diva, one of the divas alongside AJ Lee, Maxine, Natalya, and Karma, who's just waiting to come back, hopefully she'll come back soon, that can actually rejuvenate this division. Why would you get rid of her and then give companies like TNA, who's already booming with a good female division, a tool to help, promote their company more?
I get what you're driving at, and I know earlier, Eon pointed out the age of Tamina. I mean, Tara's still competing at a very enjoyable level, and I think she's in her mid-30s, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, she's definitely up there.
It's actually 40.
See, so, I mean, that only furthers my case, and I still find her entertaining. So I feel like with a lot of performers in this day and age really is only looking like just a number. I'm not saying, good God, we're going to start signing people in their 60s, but, if you could still compete at that entertaining level, at that enjoyable level, and that level where you can be relevant, then go for it. And, I look at Tamina, and I think she has so much to give. So much to give. And especially considering how often the divas are showcased and which divas are showcased, she probably has more longevity regardless of her age because of the position she's in. And honestly, and I was thinking this, if Beth Phoenix's injury was legitimate, I would have loved to have seen Tamina just take her spot briefly, because we know Karma's coming back. But I'm just thinking there are so many things you could do with Tamina. Just pick one and just shove that rocket up her ass and go to the moon because there's so much there. It's so funny because I'm so impassioned about Tamina. You didn't see me make it this kind of, case for like a Hunico or somebody else, but I mean really, considering that it's women's wrestling, considering that it's, I don't even want to say a lost art because it's there. It just gets spit on and desecrated any chance that they show up. And I just think she could bring such credibility and such dignity back to it, that we haven't seen. Well, I mean, I guess we do see with Beth Phoenix and Natalia, but I mean, I'm thinking like the Fabulous Moolahs, the Trishas, the Litas, and I just see so much of that in Tamina and what she can bring forward, and it's just a shame that she's not getting the platform.
Dude. I could buy Tamina as a women's champion. Honestly.
Buy it. I wanted it. If Beth Phoenix's reign had to end, I said Chamber, pass the torch to Tamina.
Listen to the specifics, though. Alex is saying the women's champion.
Women's champion.
Sorry, Alex, that was totally lost on me. Ever since they got rid of the titles, I kind of just make them one and the same. I know they're not, though. You're absolutely right. But even to that point, Alex, I do 100% agree with you. I feel like that if she was in the Trish, Lita, Jazz kind of era, she wouldn't have looked out of place. And I think that's the biggest compliment I can give to Tamina.
Thank you.
I want to say this video isn't us, well, at least it wasn't meant to be us just trash the random people. This is us trying to tell the WWE that there are talented people in your company that you are either not using at all or misusing. And to go and release them when they still have as much potential and everything that they have left that these people do is a true shame. So, to me, this video was me saying, WWE, you're booking these people as if you're going to release them. Change that. Don't release them. Do better with them. And, pick it up with the book and stuff,
Here's my thing with this, because I do think everybody on this list we have right now, although some of them, I will admit, I don't like, I could possibly buy them a little bit easier if they were given better circumstances to showcase what they can do and, highlight what they're good at. Maybe what Ashton said, they don't have to be booked like they're useless. They could be booked a lot stronger, and maybe if they were booked a lot stronger, a la Alex Riley, Alicia Fox, the Great Khali, maybe we wouldn't be, expecting them to get released. Especially Evan Bourne. Yeah, I'm pretty sure John has some things he wants to say about that, but my thing is, the guy is really talented. I don't want him to get released. I know he fucked up, and he's had a horrible string of unfortunate events. But, again, these talents could have something to do on the roster and could be used in a capacity that would benefit the show. Maybe WWE should really think about that before just checking them off and getting rid of them. But business is business. Some people have to go. Spring cleaning is there for a reason. But my thing is, really, really think about who you're going to release before you just say, fuck it.
Absolutely. I mean, in regards to Evan Bourne, I'm not going to, apologize for anything I said. And my thing is, Alex, he is talented. He is everything that you said he is. But while you want him on your TV, at least in regards to a WWE ring, if what I read is true, he doesn't want to be on your TV. And that's the problem. If you don't want this, then somebody will gladly take your spot and do with it what you couldn't do, and that's succeed.
And in a sense, John, that does kind of piss me off, because at the same time, it's like, all these people who busted their ass to go from indies to the main screen, like a Daniel Bryan, like a CM Punk, and people who are right now looking to get into WWE, like a Chris Hero, and other people who are busting their ass to get where Evan Bourne is, it's almost insulting in a sense. What the fuck? You don't want to be there? Get the fuck out of there in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he was a part of that, that big photo, that photo of change where they photographed all the champions and the whole kind of wrestling movement, the new regime, that we called them. And my thing is, he blew it. Call it the tag team division, call it whatever you want. It was his first ever championship, which a lot of people responded very positively to. It was with a talented guy in Kofi Kingston, so it's not like it was just with anybody. They had the chemistry, they had the dynamic. I enjoyed them. Personally, I think Epico and Primo are better. I've said that on more than one occasion. I stand by it. You know why I say that? Because Epico and Primo haven't fucked up. If they do, I'll come on here and I'll say, you guys fucked up. But they took, and that made me feel bad for Kofi Kingston, because now look at where he is. But, that's what happens. The wrestling industry is a dog-eat-dog world. All the talents are just different flavors of Alpo, okay? Evan Bourne couldn't cut it. That's what happens. And as far as the other talents go, with the exception of Alicia Fox, yes, you're welcome. My sympathies, do go out. I mean, even the Mason Ryans and the Alex Rileys I was so critical of. Again, there's a soft spot in my heart for guys who try. And, you tried. It's just, this is going to make me sound like a first-class jackass. This isn't John trying to be a heel. Just not all dreams were meant to come true. And it's sad.
Yeah,
but that's
true.
The nature of the beast. And I know that is such a heelish thing to say.
But no, it's not heelish, John. It's realistic. Not everybody is going to get over in wrestling. That is how it is. It's just like that. Not everybody is destined to be a world championship. Otherwise, the world championship would be meaningless. If everybody was a world champion, why have the world championship in the first place? You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. That's the nature of the beast, like you said.
And that's just it. It's WWE doesn't go with a flavor of the month kind of mentality. You have your mainstays, and then you have you guys that have to scratch and claw. And Riley was putting on good matches when he broke away from The Miz with The Miz. I remember their pay-per-view match at Capital Punishment. Good match. I remember their match for the WWE not the WWE Championship, but it was in the WWE Championship tournament. And Miz won that match. Good match. I just feel like it's a matter of either put your best foot forward, or if WWE really did have an interest in you, and I think that's another thing that needs to be said here for the people that we're defending and that we want to stay. I think the sad reality is we can have all the vested interest in them in the world, but WWE does have to give a crap. I know we've said, Alex, that there's no reason why a superstar can't succeed, and that is true, but I do think sometimes the company that you work for has to be interested in what you're bringing to the table. And I think, in the cases of Alex Riley or a Tamina or something like that, or even a Mason Ryan, and that's, with talents like Mason Ryan, they run hot and cold. Yeah, Mason, go out and destroy Dolph Ziggler. Next month, crickets. It's like, it's a shame, but that's the reality of this industry, and there's nothing we can do except express our thoughts on it, which I think we've done here very well. But nothing more I can say than that.
Guys, share your thoughts down below. Make a video response. Do what you do. Let us know what you guys think about this list, and who do you think will be released in this possible upcoming spring clean for WWE. Let's get a discussion going. But thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, check out the links down below. We have plenty of videos coming. Stay tuned. This was Dalyxman, Eonizzle, and BeerMoney2K/John signing out on the 4 Horsemen channel. 4 friends, 4 wrestling, 4 horsemen, baby. Peace out.
Peace.